And there are two parties out there, and there's one party that believes, just generally speaking, in, a smaller government that spends wisely, which really is spends less, taxes less, and provides more freedom to the small business job creator and the individual. And the other philosophy, which is larger federal government that spends more, requires higher taxes to fund programs that are also needed, out there in the economy. And so, on the national stage, there are these two pretty distinct philosophies. And whether it's the United States presidency or running for the United States Congress, that's really what it's about. But if you really care about getting people back to work, and I do, and I know you do, and if you believe as I do, that in order to get people back to work, you really should be talking to the people that operate within the private sector, those who create the jobs and those who operate those jobs. That's what I did over the course of the past 100 days. It's not all that complicated. They're telling us. Lower taxes, uncomplicate the code, and move out of the way because Mr. and Mrs. Histan told me we've been operating here for a long time, very successfully. We can do it again. We can grow this business bigger than you see right here. But we need a better economy. We need a federal government that works with us, not works against us. So I tell that story for a couple of reasons. Number one, because it was one of the most important things I've ever done. I was county commissioner for 10 years, now my second term in the United States Congress. As a result of those meetings, I put together a plan called Made in the USA. It's a manufacturing strategy. I visited a number of manufacturers up here. Penn Stainless, right? Quick Goal manufactures soccer equipment right down the road. Pete Shaw's place, what is it, fabric development?
Yes.
They do some defense contract. I mean, great businesses right here in this community.
Don't forget 5 and 10.
Science 5 and Dime, 100th anniversary. Had a sandwich at the lunch counter. Yeah, the great thing was that I got to meet, the owners of Science 5 and Dime. I got to meet the owners that brought Quick Goal from New York to Bucks County and listen to why they did it and how they build it and what they want from their federal government at this point in time. So I thought it important to listen to them, number one. And number two, once you listen, to take those ideas back down to the nation's capital. I have it in a plan. You can see it on my website, Made in the USA, a manufacturing strategy for the United States. And go down and convince 434 other members of Congress who are equally committed to this country. We all come at it from a different perspective and say, look, my little district of Bucks County, Pennsylvania, eastern Montgomery, up in 2.5 hours north of here, this is the common sense that my constituents are giving me, and I think it makes a lot of sense. So the question is, can we get back to the United States Congress and actually get this stuff done? I think we can, and I think we have to. Give me some questions. I'll answer anything. I'm not sure how ethanol, I often think about it. I talked to the Doylestown pilots recently. You have a pilot association in Quakertown?
Yeah, I do.
You have,
that would have been my question, Michael. Would you support legislation to get rid of the ethanol mandate?
Let me answer the question. First, let me ask you a question. How does that affect your industry? How does that affect, as a pilot? You have a different issue with lead, right?
Yeah, it's a different issue with lead, but there was a lot of planes that used to use regular pump gas before the ethanol. So that poses a real problem for a lot of planes who used to use car gas.
Yeah, and I can tell you the difference if you're a local user, like some of us do for a business or a charity purpose. If you were able to use auto gas at $3.80 a gallon, $4.10 for hot gas, and now you have to put $6.50 at gas in, it really curtails the amount of flying you can do for that use of the material. You're going to get about 50% more operating costs. And I, for one, sitting here telling you that I had to put a $700 engine in my lawn truck about a month after it went out of warranty. And Leroy tells me it's because the seals in the carburetor were because of the water and the gas tank drained in, and I got fuel and stuff.
So that's when you know you're onto something. When you start hearing the same consistent message Now, you're telling me, with the HISTANs are telling me that they, from the other perspective, is the sales and marketing of the engine and required to build it. And you as the purchaser, I mean, it sounds like you believe you
Well,
lost.
I can tell you, my wife is a retired school teacher, and a lot of school teachers in the summertime work with landscape.
Right.
And after we lost our tractor, she was complaining about the expense to some of her fellow teachers. And I said, oh yeah, I work for this landscaper. It's the number one maintenance cost, replacing small engines on this lines, and you know.
And that's when I know I was on, when I was talking, and by the way, I'm up to about 130 businesses now, visited another one today. We're just going to keep going. But that's when I realized this is serious stuff, and this is real. When business after business after business is telling you the same things about the cost of healthcare, and how increasing, healthcare costs out of control, inhibiting their ability to hire, because when the small business person hires somebody in a small business, they become like a member of the family. You don't want to hire somebody if you can't provide them the benefits that you think they deserve and you're used to being able to provide. If you can't provide those health care benefits, you're not going to bring somebody on board and have a family without health care. And you're probably not going to create that job. That's exactly what's happening. But you're very consistently telling me what I heard as part of my business visit. To answer your question, I am as environmental as any Republican in the United States government. I'm concerned about the quality of our air and the quality of our drinking water. But some of the other issues are that between the drought that we sustain and the burning of our corn, essentially, we've increased the price of a gallon and higher food prices and a higher price of a gallon of gasoline together. So I read a report today, I guess it just came out recently, that over the last 3.5 to 4 years, the average American's real income has gone down 8.4%. But the cost of everything else is going through. Their school taxes go up, the cost of food goes up, the cost of energy has increased appreciably. We're not, we are no better off than we were 4 years ago. We're worse off today than we were 4 years ago. And I think for a lot of people in our community and across the country, that's an important question to be asking ourselves right now. Are we better off than we were 4 years ago? The answer is no. Maybe the bigger question is, obviously, under which candidate will you be better off 4 years from now? And so, what is going to change over the course of the next year, 2 years to 4 years from what we've seen over the last 4? I think we have to move away from ethanol and gasoline, to answer your question. It's imperative. How we do it in a way that's safe, efficient, and protects the environment, we'll figure that out. We're a smart country. But that's the direction we're going to go.
Companies are the same thing. My husband's carburetor. And the motorcycles shoot up one wall with one.
Yes.
Years ago, the fork trucks used to be powered by regular gasoline, and that polluted carbon monoxide over to the plants. So then they went over to propane or electric. And I have a chemist friend in Thailand. They don't use gasoline over there. They use liquid propane. Now you can convert an internal combustion engine over to natural gas, and I understand that's reasonable today. I'm not sure about the adverse effect. A lot of the old engines, they need lead for certain components, valves, tablets, and so forth. They even took the zinc out of the motor oil because of contamination. So the old collector car industries have to put additives in. But I'm saying about in Pennsylvania, there's a lot of natural gas available.